We're live. We call the City Council meeting to order. Please rise and join me in the flag salute.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Jessica, would you roll call, please?
Councilmember Franco? Here. Councilmember Cook?
Here.
Councilmember Fairley?
Here.
Councilmember Osborne? Here. Councilmember Thomas?
Present.
Yeah, Jessica's did your second quarter financial report. Please make sure you speak into the mics.
All right, we are in our third quarter already. Holy cow. This year's going by fast. All right, so in your packets, you'll see the second quarter budget position as well as the treasurer's report. I'll be going over major variances in the first 6 months. If you have any questions, just stop me on the way. The first page, you'll see our fund totals. This is showing our current cash balance in each fund. Our second page is the account totals. And of course, I say this every time, I'm gonna sound like a broken record. Our LGIP account, we want to keep as much as we can in there, and just enough in checking to remain operational to maximize our interest. Interest rates are still high, which is awesome. We're still getting 30,000 plus a month in interest from our LGIP account, which is just phenomenal. Our general fund revenue, we brought in about 1.4 million in the first half this year. Miscellaneous revenues includes the interest from the LGIP, which continues, like I said, to be great. You'll see we budgeted an anticipated 65,000 for fines and forfeitures. This is where you see your traffic fines, tickets, and all that. We won't see any revenue, if there is any, until the end of the year, because the district court retains that and then takes out their portion of it, and then we get the rest at the end of the year. So you'll see that remains zero until the end of the year. Our expenses in the general fund, we would like to see about 50% of the budget used so far. You'll see the legislative line is at 153%. This does include our lobbyists that we use to obtain the state funding for the wetland project, the wetland preserve across islands in there. Well worth the money. We were able to get 600,000 from the state for that project. Our central services were at 83.1%. We had our insurance come in higher this year than we anticipated. We also have all our annual costs that come out at the beginning of the year, so all of our annual phone support, which is a high bill, our scheduling system, the Planet, the Muni code for the agenda stuff, all those annual things come out in the first half of the year. But this is high, so we are going to keep a very close eye on our central services. Conservation. This number is not right. When I was getting ready for tonight, I realized that a lot of the wetland project for the wetland reserve was going in here when majority of it should have been going to 558, the planning and community development. So this week, Julie and I are going to sit down and fix that. We're still going to be past 100% since we only did budget for 8,000, but we're going to be well below that 1,400%. That is going to get fixed, and I'll make sure to share that with the finance committee so you can see that we can get it fixed and back to normal. A lot of that work is covered by the Waterworks grant. That in mind as well. So we're looking at 52.8% for our general fund expenses.
And that 52 isn't including that 1,400%, is it? So that
it does include
that?
Yeah.
So when that goes down, that'll even look better.
No, because you're still within the general fund.
Oh, okay, gotcha. All right, gotcha. Thank you.
We usually do see a little bit high the first half of the year. In the second half of the year, we don't see as much spending, so you'll see with the report it comes down quite a bit. 53% for our revenues. Our expenses, the admin and overhead are quite significant at 86.1%. We are gonna keep a very close eye on this. I know that Public Works has been doing a lot of works with streets, so it is quite high. Great Osborne and the traffic study, that's been the most expensive cost for the street fund. The capital expenditures, we had that TIV project last year. We were awarded the funds last year, but we didn't pay the retainage until this year. So the best way to describe it, our beginning fund balance started at 14,000, but the actual beginning balance was 232 with the TIV grant funds that we received for a positive variance of 218,000. This is more than enough to cover the retainage release we did this year. We are going to do a budget amendment to fix this, so you'll see that in reality we're at 60% once we do the budget amendment. Is there any questions about that? I'd asked Tara a couple times about it because it took me a second to wrap my head. If there are any questions, please let me know. Stormwater, we're at 54.7% of our budgeted expenses. Water maintenance, we're doing great, we're below 50% for expenditures. Sewer maintenance, this is the prime example of what we want to see across all of our utility funds, where we have the revenue at 50% and our expenses below 50%. And then this last page is showing all your funds put together. Other than that, like I said earlier, we're anticipating our spending to go down since the first half of the year, like I said, it's all annual costs. So you'll see our revenue be up and our expenses be down. Okay. Are there any questions?
I'll make a motion we approve the agenda.
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second to approve the agenda. Is there any questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Pass. Can I get a motion to approve?
the consent agenda.
Thank you. Have a motion and a second. Approve the consent agenda. Is there any questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Pass. Reports. Brandon, do you have a report?
I have nothing new to report today.
Gordon?
Good evening, Mr. Mayor. The Budget Finance Committee, met last week. Keep on calling it Budget Committee. We started talking about where we're at, and we're going to be planning for the upcoming budget that Jessica was speaking about, so we're thinking about that. Looking good. Appreciate all the work the staff is doing to meet our needs and expand the needs of our cities with the work we're doing, so thank you.
Mr. Fairley?
No real reports. I was just gonna volunteer that, for the National Night Out. I'd like to volunteer my
Sweet. Miss
location.
Carr will be calling you tomorrow.
Okay?
Perfect. Thank you.
You know, I gotta get all the new officers I don't know on my side.
Perfect.
They don't do that at these things.
Oh.
They don't get on your side.
Well, they don't know what I'm barking to yet.
He's not gonna tell.
Sounds good.
Linda?
I'm sorry, I don't have one.
Mr. Thomas?
Yeah, like Councilmember Cook, I attended the finance committee meeting as well. And, well, it was second quarter short meeting, talked about some finance stuff there as well, so that's about it. That's what I had. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to begin my report as the acting city administrator, and I want to take a minute to introduce Dean. He's our code enforcement permit tech. He was an internal candidate from Public Works. Before I turn it over to Dean, tell him a little bit about himself. In the little bit of a time he's been in the position, he's definitely shown a lot of promise, little go-to, a lot of zeal. We've already got him started on a major code enforcement issue and some other things going around town. So with that, go ahead, Dean, stand up. Tell them a little bit about yourself, sir.
Hello, everyone. My name is Dean Wenner. I've lived in the town 3 years now and spent 30 years with the Boeing Company. Retired. Kind of was looking for things to do, so I reached out and applied for a job with Public Works and went to work there, and this opportunity came up, and I thought it might be a good fit, but I kind of waited for everybody to kind of see what they were going to do because they had more seniority. Nobody seemed interested, so I applied, and I feel like this is going to be a great opportunity for me. So currently, right now, what I'm doing is I'm working with my boss, Russ, and doing a lot of training, and he's gonna set it up where I can go to a couple other cities and shadow what they do there and take some of their best practices and bring it back here and see if it works for us. Right now I'm currently just doing a lot of training, but I'm eager to get started. So that's that. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, as the acting city administrator, I attended Good Eggs. The mayor was on vacation, well-deserved one of the guest speaker, for those of you that don't know what Good Eggs are, Councilmember Von Rickmeyer has a monthly breakfast where he brings a guest speaker in. This one was the new county prosecutor, Lisa Manning. Very good talk, had a lot of good conversation. Also had a couple of minutes to bend Councilmember Von Rickmeyer's ear. What we did not tell you at the last council meeting, and that's my fault, I wanted to keep it brief. We received $1 million for the project, the wetlands preserve. So with the money we obtained from the legislature and $1 million from the King County Council, we can now begin construction on that project. We have a meeting next week or this week, Jessica? Next week with all the stakeholders. We are going to plan a grand, groundbreaking. I would please consider yourselves all cordially invited, but you'll get a written invitation with the exact information. But the mayor did a very good job of working with the councilman's office to securing those funds in the county budget. We were not expecting that much money. So I just want to publicly thank Councilmember Von Rickmeyer for all the good work on behalf of Algona. I would, if I could, take a point of personal privilege. I know Mayor Hill worked on that initiative for a very long time. I would like to humbly request, as one of the oldest employees here who doesn't have a vote, that we name that park after him. So that's up to you guys. You are in charge, but I'm just making that request. I think he put a lot of time and energy into making sure this started, and it's really a pleasure to see it come to fruition. So that was a good point in good news, and was well received. So at the next council meeting, we'll have a little bit more for you about timelines, what it looks like. We've applied for our permits and our pre-app, all that. So of course we have to get permits just like everybody else. So we're excited to get that moving. So it's moving in the right direction. We also met with the developers of Algona Village. As you guys know, this is development that's going on West Valley. That meeting went very well. There's a later agenda item. They've officially requested a right-of-way vacation. That's an item on your agenda tonight, so I'll leave that discussion for that. We also had our monthly meeting with the transfer station, project manager. We learned during the transfer station meeting, they're gonna be putting dewatering wells. And I think I touched on this just a little bit at the last council meeting, but those have started to go in place. And that's mostly up on 11th. I want to be clear to those watching on YouTube or may watch later. That's so they can get in there and tie into the sewer line. The city has discussed preliminarily, and we've had a response about keeping those wells in place if they do have the right effect, and the city take over ownership of those dewatering wells. So just another thing that the mayor took the lead on about addressing the flooding, in the north end of town. So if those four dewatering wells have the effect that we think they're gonna have, then we're gonna try to take those over from King County and just keep them going. So that was a very positive meeting. And again, a lot of busy stuff here lately, but it was, it's a really good time to be in the city. Russ is not here tonight due to an illness, but public works wise, we started cleaning out our storm system. Another effort that we were, the mayor has been adamant that they get started on during the dry season. I will tell you that even though we started cleaning out our storm system on the north end, more specifically the storm system up against 167, there's still standing water up there, it's foot deep. So it's evident, back to our previous conversation, that we need to work with our neighbors about getting their business taken care of as well. But we have recent drone footage. If you'd like to take a look at it, Russ has it, I have it, Jessica has it. Feel free, we'll be glad to show it to you. But we've flown it all the way. And I will report, there are no beaver dams south of 18. So in our little area, there's no beaver dams. So that misnomer that we've been told for a very long time, that beaver dams were the ruination, that's false. So it just needs to be cleaned, pure and simple. Hasn't been cleaned in a long time. We're doing our part, we're cleaning our storm system. And correct me if I'm wrong, we're gonna continue, correct, Mr. Mayor?
We're not gonna stop.
Okay. So while I'm on the tone of public works, they broke out a brand new paint sprayer. They received some training from the manufacturer, and within hours, if you look out here in the parking lot, you can look on Ward Street. They started doing the crosswalks on Milwaukee. And for those people watching on social media as well, and if you know someone, please call in to City Hall. Hey, this intersection, I'd like to see this intersection, I'd like to see this. Because we want to start creating a punch list in our system so we can go, hey Russ, when are you gonna hit this? When are you gonna hit this? So those guys will start hitting. We're gonna work outward from here and just keep going until we get the whole city. The plan is to get the city like on a rotation. We have the paint, we have the sprayer, the guys are doing a phenomenal job. When they go down to just two people, I load them an officer to do the traffic control. So they don't have to do two flaggers and a sprayer. They can do two people spraying, one guy spreading the reflective, one guy spraying, and then my guys are directing traffic. And we can do that 3 days a week because I have an extra person on shift after 2 o'clock. So Russ and I kind of worked that out. Everybody's working as a big team. I want to give a shout out to, before I switch gears to and I know I have a lot, but I kept it short last week. I want to before I shift gears to the police chief, Jessica does a phenomenal job every month putting on some kind of training at our monthly luncheons. She did a great job this week. This month, we went over cell phone use. We go over a policy. We talk about the next month, we're going to have our wellness person. She's an MHP. She works with people in the public sector. I've reached out to her about coming and talking for the lunch. So we're going to have somebody come in, talk about your well-being, and keeping everybody moving in the right direction in a positive way. So shifting gears to the police chief. So for the last 2 weeks, I went out to the Traffic Safety Commission, got $4 grand for speed emphasis. And in the last 2 weeks, above and beyond our normal ticket count, we wrote 93 tickets related to the speed enforcement. So that's one extra officer on 4 hours a day for a 7-day period. And we wrote 93 tickets. 71 of those were for speed. So, did a very good job. I received some positive feedback. I made sure they targeted some of those areas that I was getting complaints about. And I received some targeted feedback from citizens. Thank you for the extra officers in the area. I want to give a shout out to Specialist Sarah Wood with the Kent Police Department. She was very beneficial in getting me the extra funds that I needed to make this happen. I want to be clear, the Traffic Safety Commission paid for this overtime, the city of Algona did not. And so we did such a good job, she's giving me another $2,000. So I'm gonna do it again. So I also have about $2,000 in DUI money. So I have another $4,000 that I'm gonna have an extra officer out there. And the reason the tickets are up is because the guys are actually out there making the stops. They're doing a heck of a job. One sad thing, or not really a sad thing, but one concerning thing that we had a speed race, or we had a racing incident, not this last weekend, but the weekend before. Car was flipped, took out a light pole. We're investigating that and we're going to be referring charges. I also requested assistance of the street racing task force. The commander from Kent that's in charge of that is helping out with the investigation. And so it's very nice to have those resources going, but the guys are, the guys are doing what they can, and we're a very inexperienced crew, but we're learning quick. That being said, you mentioned National Night Out. That's coming up August 1st. I will be putting out locations to all of you where they're at so that you guys can stop by. I encourage you all to stop by and, introduce yourself. It's a night of just being good neighbors. So all officers will be here. We're also, if you didn't get your photo taken, we're doing photo makeups that night right before National Night Out. Over at the police department. So if you need to get your picture, you don't like your other one, talk to Ms. Kari, we'll get it squared away. So.
Yes.
Say it again.
You want to know if we can, Bill, want to know if we can get a copy of the pictures.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
Has he sent you any?
No, I'll check tomorrow.
Yeah, so we also have our third quarter train. We'll be at the range for that. We're required to do that by an accreditation standard. And I've readjusted assignments at the police department. With the last budget amendment, you guys approved a office manager's position. I promoted Kari to office manager. So if you know someone that wants to be a records evidence specialist, we currently have a job opening. That being said, I've taken some duties away from the sergeant. When I say taken, I'm reassigning him to me because I want him out in the field being a field supervisor. We've never had the opportunity to have a field sergeant here in Algona, and I think we would benefit. We'd get a better quality, and plus it's another officer on the street. And so Cardi and I are going to take on a lion's share of the administrative duties, and we're going to get Hector out there on patrol, being a patrol supervisor. So that's kind of exciting for me to kind of make that shift and get another person out there. So other than that, I apologize for being long. I'll stand for any questions.
Chief, I have a concern on where Algona, Main Street meets Algona Boulevard.
Mm-hmm.
Every time I go out on the street and I'm going that direction, I see somebody that does not stop that stop sign. They don't signal, they don't do anything, just whirl right out into traffic.
Roll into it. Okay. I will add that during the traffic emphasis, I asked them to sit here first in Milwaukee to get some Boeing people to stop at the stop sign. And I actually got a call from Boeing. Something going on? We need to go.
I didn't stop there because there was people coming around that
So.
corner on Algona Boulevard. There's going to be a big collision one of these days.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am. I will let the officers know.
Thank you.
I did notice the stepped up presence on Main Street. I appreciate that.
Quite a bit of tickets were written on Main Street. I was hoping Mr. Gomez was going to be here. I hope he's watching.
Probably didn't have to come tonight.
Where was the racing incident?
So traditionally, Algona is known because of boundary, right? And if you look, there's some cones, they took out a light pole. That's all on the Auburn side. But Algona, that boundary, there were 100 to 150 vehicles at 1:30 in the morning. Show up, they started shooting fireworks. Two people lit it up. One person didn't make the curb. I mean, it's claimed people's lives, that curb has. He flipped his car. It was an Audi. It's now an impound, what's left of it. And, for the people watching, the law changed July 1st. Even if you just participate as a spectator, you can go to jail for street racing. If your car's used and you're not there, you can go to jail for street racing. So the law is really tightened up around street racing, and I have instructed the crew, no education, all enforcement. I do not want Algona to be known as a street racing venue.
Any questions for Chief? Thank you, James. Jessica?
All right. So I believe I shared this with the finance committee already, but we received $25,000 for that REAP Plus grant program. So I actually got Dean on board, and we're going to start the recycling voucher program here shortly. It's really exciting. We just met with King County today. We're looking at mid-August for launching it. The guy's on vacation, so we're just waiting for him to come back so we can finalize everything and get those ready for the public. The Planning Commission, I know last time I brought forward a letter from the Planning Commission to update the work plan. They would like to include the comp plan, remove the Broadway extension since they're going to include it in the comprehensive plan, and revise the streetlight portion. Do you guys have any questions, concerns about those changes?
What is the revision of the street light? What kind of revision is
It was more detailed on that. I don't think I brought a copy of it. It was a more detailed explanation. Caitlin went through and actually had more detail on what she was going to do for it.
Okay.
So they have planning commission next week. They want to talk about the comp plan. Is the council agreeable to the revised version that will include the comp plan and its changes? Or I'll give them the green light then and update the work plan accordingly and go from there. We had the movie night last Friday night. Gary had a bigger screen out, which helped a lot for the cars that parked in the back, so that was a big success. It's the little things, makes a difference. We're looking for one more person to be on the community center advisory board. We've kind of put it on hold because we've only had 2 people apply for it. Council's welcome to participate as long as we keep it under a forum. Community center advisory board. So we're hoping to get one more, so we have 3 on the board. So if you know of anyone or you're interested yourself, please let me know. Send it my way.
How often are they going to meet?
Once a month. I believe it's the first Tuesday of every month.
No, council people or whoever? No.
Anybody? Yeah, that is all I have.
Do we have any questions for Jessica? I have a very short report since I haven't been in town much for the last 5 weeks. I did attend the big meeting and it was an in-person meeting. There was a few people there. It was nice to meet some of the people that I looked at on the TV screen for the last year. So that went pretty well. And then the only other thing I attended was the grand opening for the King County Fair. There was actually 10 mayors that showed up, and the King County executive showed up. Opened the fair up and had lunch. That's all I have.
That's what I've done.
Move on to audience participation. The city council encourages public participation during meetings of the city council and welcomes your comments. This time is set aside for you to speak to the city council on any issue. The council ordinarily takes non-agenda matters under advisement before taking action. You're also invited to comment on action items as they are considered during the meeting. Individual speakers will be limited to 3 minutes each addressing the city council. When addressing the council, please speak clearly, audibly, and state your name and address. Anybody online, James?
No, sir.
30 seconds. It pops up. I'm going to go ahead and move on. Discussion item, we have A is resolution 1259-23. And it's vacation public hearing date.
You want me to explain? Take a step.
Alright, so this resolution, we received a right-of-way vacation application for the Algona Village project. It's not very often we get someone requesting this, usually it's the city doing the vacation, city and county, so this was a new one for everyone. In talking with Zach, the proper way is to do a public hearing and setting a public hearing by resolution. We're required to do a 20-day notice, so this resolution would set a public hearing for August 28th. So staff is asking for this to be amended for passage tonight, so we can set the hearing and allow for plenty of notice. And then at the next meeting, we'll have Caitlin here to go through the entire road vacation before the public hearing with council. Any other?
We need somebody to make a motion that we move resolution 1259-23 from discussion to new business.
Wait, so to be clear, we're just asking, the only thing we're asking you to waive the 3-touch rule is on setting the hearing date. That's it. So we would need a motion to move it from discussion and waive the 3-touch rule.
I make a motion that we, move 9A, agenda item resolution 1259-23, to the new business section and, waive the 3-touch rule.
Actually, it's the ordinance, sorry, because this is an ordinance, it's the ordinance. It's ordinances as well as resolutions number 12, that's my fault.
I make a motion, we move item 9A, resolution 1259-23, to the ordinance and resolutions section and waive the 3-touch rule for the public hearing.
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second, is there any question? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay.
Nay.
Pass. I see no new business, no old business, ordinance and resolutions. Item A would be resolution number 1221-23, salaries update.
Yes, I want to apologize, I missed putting this on the agenda last time. This is the 3rd touch. It was during the same process as the budget amendment. So if you want a quick summary again, I can give it to you.
I'll make a motion to approve ordinance 1221-23.
So I have a motion and a second for ordinance 1221-23. Is there any questions? No questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Passed. And then we moved, resolution number 1259-23, ROW vacation public hearing date.
Is this the first touch on that ordinance? Okay, so we have two more to go.
No, they waived the three touch, that's why I didn't vote no.
Run it all together.
This is just to set the date for the public hearing. This is not the right-of-way vacation.
That's even the right of vacation, correct? So we make a motion.
I make a motion that we approve resolution 1259-23, right-of-way vacation public hearing.
Second it.
Have a motion and second, any question?
Yes, I do. Is there an urgency why we have to wait the three touch rule?
It's not an urgency on setting the hearing, it's just we have other statutory timelines. Just remember, when you set the hearing, you got 20 days, and then from the time you have the public hearing, you have 60 days. We're going through budget cycle as well, and we did not want to carry this further into 2024. There are statutory requirements for a right-of-way
I
vacation.
guess that's what I'm asking, I mean, what is the urgency?
It's not an urgency for the process.
I know, but it's been almost a norm now to waive this three touch rule on this.
I'm sorry, what?
It's been a norm now, several times we've waived the three touch.
That's why I'm curious.
On this or other things?
On everything.
On things that just come up. It's the first time we've heard this, first time I've seen it, and it was just to set a hearing date. When did it come up? I guess that's my question. I mean, there's a reason why we set the three touch rule,
I agree.
so we're able to talk about it. Even though it's just. I got a lot of questions on this.
So let me ask you a question, Jessica. Can we check the policy? Because in my discussion with Zach, there wasn't a request. We didn't need to waive a three-touch rule because the three-touch rule only applies to ordinances, not resolutions.
Well, we moved it into.
Right. But it's a resolution, if you see it. So Zach and I never talked about the waiving of the three-touch rule. She mentioned it here, so I assume she had a conversation.
It's been my understanding that any resolution or any ordinance gives it
So
courtesy of that three touch rule.
That is correct.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't we just waive the three touch rule on the discussion, but not on this part now that we're voting on? So we want to, we can still waive.
I mean,
the
if you want to have a three-touch rule on setting the hearing, we work for you.
Yeah, we wanted it so that we had time to think about it and come back with our questions more than once. And that was what we put that into.
Right,
Just
well,
as-
I mean, right now, though, did we, from what I understood, we were waiving the three touch rule for the discussion portion of it, not necessarily for the ordinance itself. So we have to do it for each part of it, we still have to do a separate three touch. So we're not waiving it for this part, we're just waiving it for the discussion portion of it.
We're waiving it to set the.
Hearing date.
The public hearing, yeah.
So we would still have multiple touches before the 28th of August.
It's the spirit of.
I totally understand where you're coming from.
We're moving it, first time we hear about it, we're moving it right to approval.
Well, we're just setting a date.
It's the spirit of it. My question is, when did we know this? Did we know this about this month ago? or-
So we received this request last Monday.
Okay.
So we received the right-of-way request. We have a certain amount of time that we have to process the right-of-way request. Our apologies. Would you like to be in the future if we have a right-of-way request? Because this timeline is specific to right-of-way request. Would you like to be notified upon receipt of the right-of-way request? So it gives you the extra time.
Well, as a courtesy, it might even be nice to give us a heads up, might even say.
That's what I'm asking. I want to hear from you guys.
You know,
We'll take full responsibility for this one, but we received it last Monday in an email. And, that's agenda setting day, and we were just trying to be keep with the timelines.
When we waive it, can we have an explanation, a good explanation before we waive it? Instead of just all of a sudden we're gonna waive it. Because
I
I'd
apologize.
like to know why we're.
Yeah. No, we should have told you that we came in last Monday. That starts the clock for us on a right-of-way vacation. Does that make sense now?
That's.
My apologies. I'll take full responsibility for that.
So I don't mind waiving the three-touch before setting a hearing date. I
Right.
don't mind that at all. I've got questions for this right away.
Yeah, absolutely. No, the questions, that's what the public hearing's for, and we have 2 more touches on the right of way itself. We have 3 touches on the right of way, counting the public hearing. So, yep. And we will have Zach here for the hearing as well. And duly noted, my apologies.
So are you comfortable with waiving it on this for just a date?
I got it.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I'm happy, you're not happy with that.
Well, we just.
Because of the spirit of what we've agreed on, and you know, I'm happy to support that, and that's, if you really feel strongly about that. For this, there is it's not an emergency or anything, it's just setting a date, which I thought would be okay. But, happy to support if you're not comfortable with that. Because I wanna make sure we're all.
Now we're getting understood.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Passed. Is there anything else good for the order? Next workshop? Thoughts? Next workshop?
We are looking to do our first budget retreat. Was it the first meeting of August? So we're looking to do the budget retreat the first meeting of August. So that'd be Monday
Do you have a chart set up on, what the different steps of the budget and what the dates are?
Yes, I do.
August 14th.
Yes, thank you. So August 14th, we're looking to do it at the workshop hours of 6 o'clock. If nobody's opposed to that, we can set it, get a notice out to the public. It's budget retreat.
It's fun.
Yes. So we'll get that announced, and then I will have the calendar distributed. I'll email that out to